Welcome. Benchmark Workshop is a comprehensive literacy program comprised of 3 individual workshops. In this presentation, we will explore the program structure designed to build knowledge, as well as the 3 workshops: Phonics Workshop, Readers Workshop, and Writers Workshop. All 3 workshops are completely print and digital and supported with professional development. Benchmark Workshop is designed with a K-5 vertical alignment of knowledge building topics. In this chart, you see numbers representing the units, and there are 10 units per grade level. Each unit is 3 weeks long. The second column shows the topics, which are the focus of each unit, which go across all grades. The knowledge strands are sequenced to build knowledge within each grade on all 10 unit topics and focus on literary topics, science, as well as social studies topics that are aligned to your grade level content with a 50-50 split of fiction and nonfiction texts. Each unit provides a series of texts that focus on the unit topic that builds content knowledge and the language and vocabulary of that content. Access points are created as knowledge is built across the unit with a sequence of texts, which also builds equity and supports comprehension. Knowledge is also built across grade levels as each topic is taught in all grades. For every unit, each grade level has an essential question that grows in complexity across the grades and promotes critical thinking and also grounds the learning. And rather than teaching a single discrete skill each week, Benchmark Workshop teaches a cluster of related skills across the unit, so that as students revisit skills and strategies, they apply them to each text across the unit to transfer their learning of the skills and strategies to new texts. This structure takes learning beyond mastery and takes it to transfer. Learning of the content is monitored with formative assessments, including observational checklists, and summative assessments, all aligned to the Georgia State standards.
Hi everyone, I'm Wiley Blevins, author of professional development books such as A Fresh Look at Phonics and Phonics from A to Z, as well as the recent International Literacy Association's phonics brief called Meeting the Challenges of Early Literacy Phonics Instruction, and I helped to create the Benchmark Phonics Workshop. This program was built on the following guiding principles that I put into place. 1, I wanted to make sure that 7 characteristics of strong phonics instruction were firmly in place. I wanted to make sure the 10 reasons why phonics instruction sometimes fails based on my research were avoided. So safeguards were put into place, such as including a robust review and repetition cycle to give students more focused time to get to mastery, and loads of application to authentic reading and writing experiences. And 3, the program adheres to the guiding tenets currently being discussed in our national conversation around the science of reading, such as having a defined scope and sequence, instruction that is explicit and systematic, loads of opportunities to apply the skills in accountable decodable text, and assessments that provide readily available information to modify instruction as needed. Let's take a closer look. The program has a clearly defined scope and sequence that progresses from easier to more complex skills, goes from the known to the new, and contains a built-in review and repetition cycle to get students to mastery so they can transfer their skills to all reading and writing experiences. Here you see examples of the scope and sequence for each grade with a primary skill, secondary skill, which is often a word study skill, and the spiral review skills to extend learning. Each week focuses on a set of skills over a 5-day period. The instruction is explicit and systematic. Here you see an example of our gradual release model within a lesson. The teacher models a skill, offers some practice opportunities, then immediately has more modeling support if students need it. Here's an example of a blending lesson. You have taught the skill. Now it's time to guide students to practice it before reading an accountable text. You will model a couple words, then guide students to read the rest as you offer corrective feedback. Notice the built-in review and repetition cycle, ideal for students still needing more practice to master the skill, as well as challenge opportunities for students who are ready to extend their learning. These differentiated blending lessons are perfect for whole group instruction. The program comes with tons of multimedia resources to make distance learning easier. Here's a fun letter song to add lesson engagement.
The letter M.
Moves all around, moves all around.
And you have access to the e-pocket chart with preloaded activities as well as an open workspace to create even more. Here are some of the key instructional tools you will get with the program, such as sound spelling cards, letter and word cards, and a student workboard. With the sound spelling cards, you get an action rhyme to associate an action with the sound, instruction about articulation so a student knows how to move their mouth to form the sound, support for English learners, as well as other supports. And speaking of English learners, there are many built-in supports such as information on transferable sounds, articulation support, vocabulary support, and more. Let's look more closely at the instruction. There are daily explicit systematic phonics lessons that are about 15 to 30 minutes long, depending on the day and student needs. In these lessons, you'll find opportunities to provide multisensory learning experiences, alternative learning paths, as well as language transfer support for our English learner students. Also, for each whole group phonics lesson, there is a small group option each day as well. This allows for further opportunities to differentiate instruction to meet the needs of learners. But with all phonics instruction, it's in the application where the learning sticks, and that's the focus of this program. In grades K1, students will work in interactive student booklets called My Reading and Writing. Grade 2 students will work in their My Word Study booklets. There's a booklet for each theme in the program, 10 booklets, each with 3 units in it. These booklets provide those all-important, authentic reading and writing opportunities. In K1, you start with a We Read experience where students will annotate the text and you will model. You then proceed to a We Write activity where you guide students to record their thinking and learning. Notice the vocabulary building supports in the word bank and the dictation or guided spelling support to help students transfer their growing phonics skills to writing. After that, students read an accountable decodable text in the I Read portion of the week's lesson. Students will read this text with partners to build fluency and mark it up as they look for targeted phonics patterns. This is followed up by I Write, where students will show their comprehension of text through writing. Graphic organizer supports allow them to organize their ideas and discuss them with partners before writing. This follow-up to reading of decodable text is one of the most powerful application tools during phonics instruction. We read and write, I read and write, and then additional decodable texts are provided for students to read to build fluency. In grade 2, students read an interactive text, which they will mark up as they look for key phonics patterns, and then an accountable text to apply their skills. A second accountable text is available in the teacher resource book for students who need support to develop fluency. In grade 2, there is an increased focus on ensuring mastery of basic phonics skills while transitioning students to reading longer, more complex multisyllabic words from the very beginning of the year to meet the reading demands these students are facing. And that's a quick overview of the phonics workshop materials.
Now let's focus on Reader's Workshop, where the knowledge-based competencies of the science of reading research are taught. The essential question launches the unit and engages learners with the unit topic and connects the unit learning to their lives, which provides relevance. Each day, students will engage in whole group read-alouds, shared reads, reading mini-lessons, and small group instruction. Reader's Workshop reflects a gradual release of responsibility. First, the teacher models in a read-aloud. Authentic trade books that include fresh new titles are available to use as read-alouds to introduce the unit topic as well as topic vocabulary. Teachers also model fluency, comprehension, and introduce unit vocabulary with read-alouds of the whole group texts to introduce students to those texts. During whole group instruction, we share responsibility with students. Shared reading mini-lessons revisit the shared reads used in phonics workshop during Reader's Workshop to reinforce the phonics skills taught in the whole group phonics mini-lessons. While the texts used for whole group reading mini-lessons are sequenced to build knowledge on the unit topic across each unit. In K1, the text sets include authentic titles in the form of big books and lap books, while in grade 2, the authentic texts are all located in each unit's mentor text, student write-in text. All texts are both print and digital and also interactive and include audio support that can be accessed online in Benchmark Universe or offline through our app. The authentic texts in Benchmark Workshop also include voices from a diverse group of authors and illustrators who tell their story in their voice so that students have the opportunity to see themselves reflected in texts and also have the opportunity to learn about others. And for every whole group text that students will encounter across the unit, we've identified how to address cultural responsiveness as well as social emotional learning. Grade 2 students receive 10 mentor texts across the year, one for each topic. Each unit contains 6 different texts, including poetry, all focused on the unit topic. These write-in texts are replaced every year for the life of the adoption. The front cover of the mentor texts has a flap that extends past the text with tips for annotation for students to reference as they read. When the flap is folded over, they engage in setting learning goals which provide purpose, ownership, and accountability. Students engage authentically in the mentor texts as they read about the topic, annotate and take close reading notes, and then talk about the topic. And engaged students learn. The reading mini lessons have a focus, model, guide, share, and reflect design. The focus links the skill or strategy to previous learning, and teachers will then model the skill or strategy and co-construct anchor charts with students to reflect learning. Teachers then release responsibility to students as they practice and demonstrate their learning during guide practice that include look-fors as a formative assessment to monitor learning during the lesson. English language learner scaffolds are found in each lesson with light, moderate, and substantial support provided. During guide practice, students process their learning in constructive conversations that are built into the lessons. Posters and cards provide support for these conversations and are based on the work by Jeff Swears. The lesson ends as students share and reflect on their learning. During small group instruction, we further release responsibility to students as we guide instruction. Benchmark Workshop provides small group level texts for each unit topic that are leveled by Lexile, DRA, and Faunus and Pinnell levels. Each title comes with 6 copies, a text evidence question card, and a teacher's guide that includes EL support for each and also addresses social emotional mindfulness, scaffolds comprehension, and reading behaviors, which are further supported with strategic prompting cards. These identify the reading behaviors over which students should have control for each Faunus and Pinnell level, and for each reading behavior, a demonstration, a prompt, and a validation specific to that reading behavior is provided. The strategic prompting cards are a tool to move students into more challenging texts. Reader's Theater offers fluency practice with titles on that same topic, with each part written at a different reading level. This chart shows the range and the number of titles each teacher receives at each grade level. And as each title comes in a set of 6, you receive your own small group library. You also have access to every grade level small group libraries through Benchmark Universe. And as all grade levels are learning about the same topics, the texts above and below grade level are on your topic as well. Responsibility is released completely as students apply learning independently. During independent practice, students might be setting or reviewing personal learning goals. They might practice and apply what was learned in whole group or reinforce previously taught standards. They might use the peer coaching menus where they have a choice in how to respond to a text they've read. I've also got supports to meet with students in conferences with my prompts and tips for reading conferences flip chart. Each unit ends with culminating activities where students are asked to apply what they've learned to their world and the real world perspectives, and then deepen their understanding of the content with inquiry projects provided for each unit that allow for student choice in what to explore, how to present, along with extensions.
Benchmark Writers Workshop has 3 features that sets it apart: the use of goals, the modeling of strategies to reach that goal, and opportunities for transfer. I think of goals and strategies similar to the maypole. Goals are that pole that tether the entire unit, and strategies are taught to shore up the skills to reach the goal. They're interwoven and retaught as needed. There's also strong research behind using goals. Having long-term goals such as these has proven to increase writing quality by 28 percentile points. We provide 3 to 5 student-friendly goals for each unit volume and return to and remind students of those goals daily. We have an explicit connection for teachers to see and use strategies to support student growth within each goal. Notice the goal and the quick reference page for the strategy, and the strategy itself written step by step. We provide a menu of strategies for the teacher to choose from for their mini lessons, conferences, and small groups. This gives teachers the opportunity to be responsive to each writer while also having some tools of reference. Transfer is the ultimate proof that students have internalized strategies and taken their learning on the road. The only way to ensure transfer has happened is to intentionally design it into units. Because strategies are transferable from one writing piece to another, and because our materials offer multiple transfer opportunities, students are able to use and adapt what they have learned to new situations. We also have tools to map students' growth, including the developmental stages of emerging writers, goal-centered assessment tools, and student tools for self-reflection. Benchmark also has a set of materials for developmentally sound grammar learning in the primary grades. The Benchmark Writers Workshop draws upon research and classroom practice to both simplify and strengthen writing instruction by building in these three parts: goals, strategies, and opportunities for transfer.
As you review Benchmark Workshop, keep in mind that Phonics Workshop, Readers Workshop, and Writers Workshop form a comprehensive program that connect and build on each other to build knowledge across the three workshops with engaging student materials. Thank you for considering Benchmark Workshop as a possible solution for Fulton County.
And we wanted to end with, as you go into explore the materials, we wanted to give you a quick overview of how to really navigate the website. So let me quickly get that going for you.
And I have typed into the Q&A box for the participants the link to the demo website so that they can click on that and access it and kind of follow along if they want to as well.
Perfect.
As you begin to review Benchmark Workshop resources, let's first do a quick walkthrough of the Fulton County Review site. A link to an overview presentation is found in the middle of the web page, while the links to the Fulton County files and the virtual samples are also located in the menu at the top of the page. Let's take a closer look at these links. Clicking on the authors link, you'll be introduced to each of the contributing authors of each of the three workshops. The link to the Fulton County files provides access to documents like the alignment of Benchmark Workshop to the Georgia standards, the research upon which Benchmark Workshop is based, and more. The distance learning link shows a sampling of some of the digital practice resources that Benchmark has created to support the virtual classroom. The virtual samples link provides a look at the print materials you'll receive for each of the three workshops, but in a digital format. Beneath the three workshop tiles, you will find a link to access Benchmark Universe. Benchmark Universe is a digital platform that houses all the interactive digital resources for both teachers and students. Let's click here and use these credentials to log into the portal for Fulton County's Benchmark Universe demo site. The landing page is where you'll find links to all three workshops. Click on the tile for the workshop you'd like to navigate to access both the teacher and student materials. I'm going to start with Readers Workshop. Benchmark Universe is laid out in three panes. The far left-hand pane are your filters. The middle pane are where you'll find all of the materials that meet the filters you selected, and the far right-hand pane is where you can create assignments or bookshelves. Start by choosing a grade level and a unit, and immediately the materials adjust to match those filters. As you scroll down the page, you'll notice the headers identify the setting for each set of materials. Whole group materials are found at the top, and small group materials are further down. You can continue to filter the resources by type. Clicking Small Group removes all materials except for the leveled readers for this particular grade and unit. And all grade levels are learning about the same topic at the same time. Clicking on the additional grade levels will add even more texts on that unit topic that are above and below grade level. To open a small group reader, you can simply click on the book, but the gear in the bottom right corner provides additional options, one of which is the ability to create a link to the book in resources you might be using outside of Benchmark Universe. Once the ebook is opened, you'll be asked if you'd like to create a customization. When you're in an ebook, you can turn the pages by clicking on the bottom corner. You can continue to navigate through the book by clicking the corners, or you can click on the arrow at the bottom, which reveals a tray of the entire book and allows you to navigate using the right and left arrows. Leaving a question for students to answer as they read a book is as easy as copying a question from the text evidence question card located in the teacher resources, adding a sticky note to the page, and then pasting the question on it. Resources can be assigned to students by clicking on the assignment button, dragging the desired resource to the assignment, and filling out the assignment details. Distance learning activities were created for all three workshops to support virtual classroom instruction. They can be assigned to students the very same way. To access them, simply filter for distance learning. These digital practice activities were intended to be assigned to students after instruction and include daily practice and response opportunities. To access the Digital Teachers Resource System, go back to your Home tab, change your filters, and then go to the top where you see your teacher resources and click on the icon. To navigate, use the menu pane on the left-hand side of the web page. All of your unit resources are at the top. Below, you'll find the links to your read aloud lessons, your share reading lessons, and your reading mini lessons for weeks 1, 2, and 3. To access resources from a different workshop, go back to the first tab, click on the pull-down menu, and scroll down to your desired workshop and click. Or you can click on the planet in the top right-hand corner, which will always take you back to the landing page where you will find all the workshop tiles. Navigation for readers and phonics and word study workshops digital teachers resource systems are the same, but navigation is slightly different for the writers workshop digital teachers resource system. So let's take a quick look. After filtering for your grade level and unit, click on the teachers resource system. You simply click on the menu icon in the top left-hand corner to open the navigation pane where the links to the unit resources along with each week of instruction is located. Notice that the Reader's Workshop resources opened previously are still open in their tabs, so resources from all 3 workshops can be accessed simultaneously. To locate virtual professional development support, click on the Home tab, and then the planet to go back to the landing page. Within the Virtual Professional Learning tile, you'll find self-paced professional development modules to help you maximize the digital resources, as well as self-paced training modules to get you started with implementation. The digital tools within Benchmark Universe make learning interactive. They can be used to post learning targets, display instructional strategies, model skills, and identify details. The digital tools within Benchmark Workshop support virtual synchronous and asynchronous instruction. Have fun exploring Benchmark Workshop resources in Benchmark Universe.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And so Fulton County staff, we have typed into the Q&A, the demo website, as well as some usernames and passwords. And Brent, is there anything you wanted to say?
No, I think, well, yes, to answer the question. Kelly, I just would strongly encourage those folks, while we've given the username and password through the chat on the website where you go underneath the samples area, those credentials are there. Again, there's also credentials for the student access, so you can experience that. And then the main thing I want y'all to do is spend some time. There are specific things that were asked of Fulton County for us to provide. And underneath those Fulton County docs, there is a tremendous amount of information from alignments to that critical information around the alignment of Benchmark Workshop and Science of Reading. I strongly encourage those files to be investigated, as well as obviously the curriculum and the resources itself.
Thanks so much, Brent, for sharing that. Okay, and let me see if there are any questions. And then again, Fulton County, staff, you can be exploring now as well as on your own. Again, the link to the survey to provide feedback for any of the vendors is on our Fulton County website page. You just click on feedback survey and it will take you there. Let's see, one new question. Give me just a second.
I think the only question was from Shakima. She just can't see the link. So maybe you can put that back in the chat.
I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And Lisa, if you could just go back to the Fulton County site and show where that information is located on that demo site as well. That way they've got multiple paths to see how they can get to that.
Okay, let me.
And it's right underneath the virtual samples.
Right, so I'm going to pull that up.